Negligent and careless. That's how state regulators describe what News 5 investigators discovered happening at some Northeast Ohio county fairs.
Now we're talking about amusement ride operators in several cases appearing to pay more attention to their cell phones than your child's safety.
News 5 investigator Scott Knoll went undercover to expose what's happening. He's here now with more on what he discovered. Scott.
Rob, ride operators using cell phones is a problem I've been exposing for more than a decade in various cities across the country. Now I'm back home and wanted to see, was it happening here in Northeast Ohio? Not only was it, but tonight what we found has the state taking action.
It's midday on the Midway, perfect weather for a fair. But what my photographers and I found happening behind the controls of some amusement rides,
that's so dangerous,
triggering a storm of emotion from fairgoers.
Panic attack and just anger and sadness.
Upset after seeing what our cameras captured. Ride operators, like this guy in Lake County, seemingly more interested in his cell phone than what's happening on the ride he's controlling. Or this guy in Medina County, not even a ride full of kids, enough to get him to hang up on his conversation.
I don't want my kids going on rides like that. That puts them in danger. 3
different county fairs, 3 different ride companies, one common problem.
He needs to be focusing his attention on the ride.
David Myron heads the state's Division of Amusement Ride Safety.
Does it concern you how easy it was for us to find this?
I think any time that, whether it's 1 time or 10 times, it's concerning.
He says state regulations are clear.
Their job is safety. They're operators of the ride. There should be focused all of their attention and energy on that ride.
A lot can happen in the blink of an eye.
Absolutely.
Try telling that to this guy. We found him on his phone again and again at the merry-go-round at the Summit County Fair. At one point, even appearing to snap a selfie. His boss says there's no excuse for what we found.
You know better. You're an adult. Take responsibility for yourself. Plain and simple.
He says all operators are told phones are only for emergencies. But in just a few hours, we found 7 different ride operators using their phones.
How did you guys not catch that this was going on?
We have a lot going on. It's not just one ride. You know, we had 21 rides here.
But he says after we told him what we discovered, the company knows they have to do better.
We're going to issue an overall warning, and they'll get, 1 correction, and after that, termination.
These guys will be fired if they do this.
Yep.
And they won't be the only ones watching.
Thank you for showing this to us. Without that information, we would not be able to address these situations.
The state issuing its own warnings to the ride companies involved. Fairgoers hoping it convinces ride operators to spend less time exercising their thumbs and more time exercising common sense.
Get off your phones and pay attention to what you're doing. You're getting paid for this. You're not getting paid to go on your phones.
We also talked with management from the other 2 ride companies you saw in the story. The owner of Bates Brothers Amusements told us he didn't want to talk to us and hung up the phone. While a manager from Kissel Amusement said the company has a strict no cell phone policy, he said what we found won't happen again.
Midday on the Midway. All right, eye-opening stuff. And I understand one of the managers also had a question for us.
Yeah, Kissel also said we should have made a ride manager aware of the issue when we caught it. That's something we will do in the future. And the Ohio Department of Agriculture says you should too if you see a ride operator on the phone. The agency also suggests you contact them. That way regulators can follow up with the ride companies as well. Reporting live, I'm News 5 investigator Scott Knoll.
Well, you better believe I'm going to speak up, Scott. Thank you for that.